All right, here we go. It is Wednesday, December 16th. And today we're going to take a little bit of a side route. We've gone over all sorts of different terms and concepts and ideas for genetics. And today I just want us to work on practicing and refining those terms and concepts and things like that. We're going to take it a little bit easy over the next couple of days because I want you students to have the time that you need to get work done. There's still a lot of people that owe a lot of work, and we're coming up on the holidays. I've talked to you guys before about what that means if you're still missing work and how it feels once we come back from the holidays. So we're going to be doing a little bit of class today, little bit of class tomorrow, and in each of those days, I will be giving you a bunch of time to work on stuff. So if you need me, please come log into the class, let me know, ask me the questions so that I can help you. Because if you don't ask me, then I can't help you. So then if you come to me at the end of the marking period and say, Mr. Matthews, I never got this lab done because I didn't understand it. I mean, I don't know what you expect from me because I'm here to help now. I will be. You just got to ask the questions. All right, moving on. So then what are we going to be covering today? Well, today we are, this is going to look weird. Today we're going to be doing a bit of this. Let me get my meat over here. There we go. Wonderful. So if we're taking a look at it, what we're seeing are a lot of the terms that we've already gone over. Gene, chemical factors that determine traits. Fair enough. The alleles are the different versions of the gene. Now, examples. The gene will be for hair color. Now, the alleles that an individual may have, and remember, you're only going to have 2 alleles. Might be black or brown or blonde or red. And you're going to have one of each, maybe 2 of one. That's, your genetic makeup. Now, once we've got some of that, then we can take a look at those letters and say, well, are you homozygous or heterozygous? Remember, the zygous part isn't as important. Just remember the prefix. Homo means same, hetero means different. So if somebody is homozygous, they're going to have 2 of the same alleles. If somebody is heterozygous, they're going to have 1 dominant and 1 recessive. So here are our examples. Homozygous might be capital B, or little b. Those are both homozygous. One is homozygous dominant. The other is homozygous recessive. But what about somebody who is heterozygous for hair color? Well, then they may have a big B and a little b. 1 dominant, 1 recessive. All right, so now that we know what the gene is, we've identified the alleles that you have, and now we can talk about, are you heterozygous or homozygous? Now we can also then talk about your genotype and your phenotype. So your genotype will just be the letters that make up your genes, the letters for your alleles, whatever they may be. The phenotype, on the other hand, will be the actual traits that you then express based on your genes. So if we go with this heterozygous genotype, big B, little b, just the letters, that will give us the phenotype, the physical trait of having the black or brown hair, the dominant color of hair. Right? So this goes over all the terms that we've covered so far and all the terms that you are going to need to be able to know and apply to our problems. So let's take a look at a couple of examples to this. So then this one says, Buster is a beautiful bearded dragon. He is a vibrant red color, which is a recessive trait. Buster is bred with Abby, a purebred yellow vanilla bearded dragon. That's the normal kind of sandy yellow color. What is the likelihood of them having a red baby? All right, so right now we're pretty straightforward. The first thing to identify then is, what is Buster's genotype? He is red. That is a recessive trait. So Buster's genotype then, if it's a recessive trait, is going to be a little r or little b. What? No. Little r. No. There we go. And secondly, another little r. It is recessive, and therefore he must be homozygous recessive in order to be red. All right? But then Abby, she is, now this is a term that you're going to see a lot of, purebred yellow vanilla. Purebred means that they are also homozygous for whatever they are. That's why a purebred dog costs so much more than a normal one. That's why purebred animals usually come with some kind of document that proves that they're purebred, because you are paying for that lineage that has given them the homozygous alleles. So you could then turn around and breed that animal with another purebred and produce certified purebred offspring. So now if we look through this and we push Buster's alleles down, little r's into those boxes. We push Abby's alleles across, big R's into these boxes. Every one of these is going to get one big R from Abby, one little r from Buster. What is the likelihood of them having a red baby? What percentage? %. Because every one of these babies will get one dominant capital R from their mother, which means every single baby will have a heterozygous genotype, which means one dominant and one recessive. And if there's a dominant, then the dominant will win. It will show itself. And that dominant is our yellow vanilla color. So a 0% chance for little baby red dragons. So then, counter question. What would we need to do if we did want to breed red dragons? Well, there's really only one way to do it reasonably. We would need to breed 2 homozygous recessive individuals. It's the only way to guarantee that you're going to get that homozygous recessive trait. And so when you take a look at some sort of animal like a emerald green boa constrictor, and you look at the price tag and you go, oh my God, that snake is like $250. This is why. There needs to be a lot of breeding until you get a breeding pair that both will only produce that offspring. It's not easy to do. Or you have a situation as a breeder where instead you're doing this. And then you are hoping to get this 25% homozygous recessive, and the rest of them will not have that trait. You got to figure out what you're going to do with those animals. If you're not breeding them for you and you're breeding them for sale, those 3 out of every 4 are going to be worth a lot less than this 1 out of every 4. So just a quick example there. We should get used to seeing those terms, hearing the ideas of genotype and phenotype and homozygous and heterozygous, and the lights are going to turn off on me. Because of course they are. I'm recording a video. All right. Oh, well, we'll go with outside lights. It's still bright enough. All right. Second, dark colors are more dominant than the recessive light colors. Okay, basic. Especially true for mice and rodents, which this is based off of. So Josephine has a dark phenotype. Andrew has a dark phenotype as well. But some of their offspring are light colored. That's the recessive. What genotypes do the parents need to have for this result? This is a really common style of question, especially as we start to move further on with our ability to understand Mendel and how Punnett Square's genetics and inheritance work. You are not given the parent's genotype. You're given their phenotype. So it's important to note a couple of things. First of all, if they are dark, what do they have to have? Dark is going to require at least one dominant allele. Oh, I spelled that. Now, what genotypes will give you one dominant allele? Well, we could go with a capital and a lower, right? Because that gives you one dominant, so they'll still have the dark color. Or we could go with the homozygous dominant. All right, both of those genotypes will result in a dark colored mouse. Which ones can we cross, though, that will get some light colored offspring? Well, if you're looking at it, if we do big B and big B, the homozygous dominant, and then we carry those down, just that alone tells us that every single box is going to get a dominant capital B. That will produce all dark colored offspring. So that can't be it. Well, if it's not big B, our only other option is the heterozygous big B, little b. So this one, these two boxes will both get a capital B. These two boxes will both get a little b, so it's possible. Then we can set up over on this side. All right, if we do big B over here, and our big B's will now push across. And once again, every box ends up with a big B, which means a dark color, which will not give us light offspring. So we can't do big B. But if we do big B, little b, the heterozygous, now we're going to see one box right here where we get little b from the top, little b from the side. This will produce light colored offspring, homozygous recessive. So we figured out both of these parents, Josephine and Andrew, must be heterozygous in order to produce homozygous recessive phenotyped offspring. And our last example, Yen Li has the genotype big R, little r. She is heterozygous for iridescent spines and scales. Drago, which is her mate, this is not bearded dragons, this is just dragons because I like dragons, is a sandy colored dragon. Okay, it doesn't tell us a whole lot there, but we've already identified capital R, little r produces iridescent. It's shiny, like rainbow hologram type appearance, right? So then, sandy color must be the recessive because the dominant is iridescence. So we can kind of figure out what their genotypes have to be. So that's the first part. What is Drago's genotype? Well, if he's sandy colored and capital R is iridescence, that means that he's got to be little r, homozygous recessive for that sandy color. Now we do the Punnett Square, right? Completing it for Yen Li and Drago, who we know Yen Li is now heterozygous, big R, little r. Drago is homozygous recessive, little r, little r. So the big R's come down, the little r's come down, the little r's go across, the little r's go across. So we end up with two boxes that are big R, little r. We end up with two boxes that are little r, little r. So half of the offspring will have Yen Lee's genotype, big R, little r, heterozygous, so they should be iridescent. Half of the offspring are going to have Drago's genotype, little r, homozygous recessive, and should be sandy colored. They have 6 offspring. Here are the results. Yeg is iridescent, Callie is sandy, Gran is sandy, Sori is iridescent, Wasu is iridescent, and Philip is iridescent. 4 iridescents, 2 sandies. If this is true, and we got Drago's genotype, why aren't the offspring a 50-50 split? The Punnett Square says 50% iridescent, 50% sandy. If you can't answer this one, go back to our notes, the beginning of the Punnett Square section. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to cover our practice. Today in class, we're going to be taking a look in Unit 4 after we talk about this, and we're going to be working on number 21, which is the Punnett Square Mendel worksheet. It should be pretty straightforward. It's really nice practice for all of this. This is not due until Friday, so spend some time working on it. Spend some time working on the other work that you owe. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a great day. Stay safe tomorrow if the snow is as bad as they're saying. Tonight it's supposed to start. Into tomorrow, we're looking at like 8 to 13 inches or something is the last estimate I saw. Stay safe. Hope to see you in class. Have a great day.